Hello, clever people, and welcome to my video for my most and least anticipated movies of 2019. So every year I do this, I go through the movies that are coming out in the next year, and I say what are my most and least anticipated. And least anticipated sounds a little bit weird because you think if you're not looking forward to the movies, why go see them? But my goal is to try to see every movie that I can in theaters because I like going to the theater no matter what. So even though I don't want to see them, there are quite a few movies that I end up seeing that I don't want to see. So I like to go through what my least and most anticipated are. So this year, I will be starting off with my least and with some honorable mentions. And those least honorable mentions include The Angry Birds Movie 2 and Shazam. So starting off at number 10 for least anticipated, we have Aleta Battle Angel. So this is a movie that just keeps on getting pushed back more and more and more, and it's really not a good sign for the movie. I'm expecting a complete disaster out of this, because the trailers have all been really bad, and just overall, the idea of a movie being pushed back so many times, it usually never bodes well for a movie that they keep on having to edit it and reframe it and re-scrap it, and it was supposed to come out during Christmas, and I think even before then it was supposed to come out in like August or something. I think I saw the trailer to this movie in front of Star Wars The Last Jedi, and that's how long this movie has been taking to come out. So hopefully it comes out by February, or hopefully just that fact that it comes out this year at some point, as it's right now it's not boding very well. At number 9 we have Dora the Explorer. They're making a Dora the Explorer movie, and when this movie was first announced, they announced Michael Bay as the director for it, which I thought was very interesting, but Michael Bay is no longer directing, so Dora the Explorer, it might not be a terrible movie. I'm just really not looking forward to seeing this movie because I know it's not going to be a movie for me. And I know it's not going to be a movie I like, so that is why it is on my least anticipated. At number 8, we have Ugly Dolls. So I didn't know that this movie existed until they started showing the trailer in theaters about a month ago. And I think that it looks terrible. The music in it, the main song that they use, is already getting on my nerves. And I'm worried that this is going to be one of the movies that comes out and kids sing the song for months and months and parents have to listen to it and buy them all the toys from the movie. I'm really worried that it's going to be something like that. And I am not excited for that because just the one song already, hearing it like 4 times from seeing the trailer 4 times in front of movies, I'm already very much dreading seeing this movie. At number 7, we have Escape Room. So, by the time this video comes out, I'm sure I will have already seen Escape Room, but I'm hours from seeing it as of now, and I do not look forward to it because I think that it looks like a complete ripoff of Saw, and it looks like a movie that's trying so hard to be so smart and clever, and just the fact that they based a movie off of an escape room is just very weird to me. I understand that that's an enticing idea for a horror movie, but it doesn't need to be an escape room. Like, Saw 5 and a lot of the Saw movies have already done that concept without calling it an escape room, so I don't really understand the reason behind that either. At number 6, we have Minecraft the movie. I just don't know how you're going to make a movie out of Minecraft. I really don't know. I know that this has a good director. I know it has Steve Carell in it. I just don't understand how you can make a movie out of Minecraft. I think that that's so weird, and I'm honestly more curious to see what this is and what it turns out to be, but I'm worried it's going to turn out to be something that's really, really terrible. At number 5, we have The Curse of Llorona, I believe is how you say it. I am not looking forward to this movie because it is giving me bad The Bye-Bye Man vibes. If you remember The Bye-Bye Man, it came out at the beginning of 2017, so almost 2 years ago, and it was one of the worst movies that year. I think I put it in my bottom 3 or something like that. It might have been my worst, I can't really remember, but I am not looking forward to The Curse of La Llorona because it's giving me very similar vibes to that. It's also giving me similar vibes to The Nun, which was my least favorite movie of last year. So not a whole lot about this movie has come out, just a poster, but just from the vibes it's giving me, I'm already very much not looking forward to it. At number 4, we have What Men Want. So this is a movie coming out, and it has Taraji P. Henson in it. And the last movie that she came out with early in the year was Proud Mary, and that was a very bad movie. So I was not looking forward to this. I'm not, and I don't expect anything good to come from it. I just don't think that the trailers have looked funny at all. And it just seems like a movie that is attacking men. And it's fine to have movies like that because they're serving a demographic. That's completely fine. It just doesn't look like a movie I want to go see. So at number 3 we have Replicas. So this movie has Keanu Reeves in it, and it follows the story of a guy who rebuilds his family using replicas of robots. And just from the trailer alone, I'm already getting a very strong sense that this movie is gonna be horrible. It looks and feels so much like a direct-to-DVD movie. It really does, but it's being released in theaters, and I have a very bad feeling about the fact that it's being released on January 11th, so early in the year. I think it's going to be a disaster. Alright, at number 2, we have A Dog's Way Home. This is also coming out on January 11th, and this is actually in a series of movies. The first one was A Dog's Purpose, which was bad enough in and of itself, but the trailers to this movie look terrible, and the biggest concern for me is the fact that the biggest red flag that any movie can put up is showing the entire movie in the trailer. And that's exactly what this movie did, plot point by plot point. I know how this movie ends at this point, and I don't know, I'm just really not looking forward to it. And at number 1, we have my least anticipated movie of 2019, and that is Isn't It Romantic? This movie literally has the same plot as I Feel Pretty, only the world is changing around her instead of her herself changing. But it's literally the same thing. She gets knocked out, she wakes up feeling a lot better about herself, men give her more attention, and suddenly she has better best friends, and the whole world around her has changed, and I hate that concept. I hate it when movies do that. And I don't know, I Feel Pretty was one of the worst movies I saw last year, and I feel like this is just going to be worse. I didn't find the trailer funny. I don't know, I don't have any reason to look forward to seeing this movie. Alright, so going from the negative to the positive, I am going to be doing my most anticipated movies of 2019. So, I will start off again with some honorable mentions. Jojo Rabbit, The Lighthouse, The King, Waves, Memoria, Shirley, The Truth, Lion King, and Queen and Slim. So starting off at number 10 for my most anticipated of 2019, we have Midsommar, which is a movie coming to us from the director of Hereditary. I think his name is Ari Aster or something like that. And what I loved about Ari Aster is that he took the plot of a family that is being terrorized by a demon, which is a very overdone plot in movies, and he took it and made it feel fresh and brand new. And Hereditary, it didn't affect me as much as a lot of other people, but my favorite thing about it was how original it was with such a tired concept. And I think that Midsommar is going to be the same thing. It's a very overdone concept. It's the idea of a couple being overtaken by a cult. And them, we just had Mandy this year that had basically the same premise. So I am excited to see what Ari Aster is able to do with this type of horror story. At number 9, we have Little Women. This is coming out at Christmas time, so it's basically an entire year away, and it's directed by Greta Gerwig. And I haven't seen Frances Ha. I watched about 30 minutes of it, and I had to stop, and I never got to watch it again. But those 30 minutes were great so far. And I love the idea of a black and white Little Women movie, and I think it's contemporary. I'm not sure. No, actually, never mind. It is not contemporary. It is set back in the day, but I'm curious what Greta Gerwig is going to do with this premise. And the fact that it's coming out on Christmas Day is a big, big thing for Oscar contenders. So I am very excited to see Little Women. At number 8, we have Ammonite. So Ammonite is a movie starring Saoirse Ronan, and it is directed by the guy who did God's Own Country, a movie I have yet to see, and it follows the story of two women who are paleontologists that fall in love in the 1840s. And I'm excited for this movie mostly because of the premise, but also it's being released around Oscar season, so I don't know much about it, but I just really love the premise, and I haven't seen God's Own Country, but I do want to check it out, and I hear a lot of people love it, so I am quite excited for this one. At number 7, we have A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. This movie is coming to us, I forget the director, but it has Tom Hanks in it, and he is playing Fred Rogers. And having just seen Won't You Be My Neighbor and growing a lot of respect for Fred Rogers, I am very excited to see where this movie goes. I don't know much about it, but it has Tom Hanks, it's about Mr. Rogers, and it's coming out during awards season, so I am in. At number 6, we have Berkman Island. It's another movie from a director I haven't seen anything from. I haven't really paid attention to who the actors are, but I'm excited because of its premise, because it follows two filmmakers that go to the island that Ingmar Bergman wrote a lot of his screenplays and directed a lot of his movies, and they're trying to write their own screenplays, but as they're staying there, the line between screenplay and reality starts to fade, and that just sounds very exciting to me. At number 5, we have Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This is Quentin Tarantino's 9th movie, and I believe that he said he was making 10. I heard him say he was making 10 at Comic-Con, that was his goal, so this is one of the last Quentin Tarantino movies we're getting, and with a stacked cast like this, and with such a big award season attraction, I am very excited to see this movie coming out in July. At number 4, we have Avengers Endgame. The reason that this movie is not higher on my list is because I am nervous about it. I'm worried that having such a big phenomenon as Infinity War was, and having to follow that up, I'm worried that they're not going to be able to follow it up as well as they possibly could, and I'm worried in the ways that the story will go, but I'm still so excited to see the way that they wrap up the story after the end of Infinity War, and wherever it's going to take us from there. At number 3, I have Us. This was my number 1 for a very long time, but then one movie I got more excited for and one movie got pushed back. So Us is my number 3, but this is coming to us from Jordan Peele. And in case you don't know, Get Out was one of my favorite movies of 2017. I adore that movie. I adore everything it did. I thought for a first-time filmmaker, it was absolutely brilliant. And the trailers for Us so far have been really creepy. I'm really excited to see what else Jordan Peele has going on in his mind. And I think that this is going to be a big Oscar contender for the Oscars in 2020. I've said that for a lot of movies, but I think Us will be, and I think it will carry over from March all the way to December, because that's what Get Out did. And clearly Jordan Peele, for being a brand new director, has a brilliant grasp on horror cinema. At number 2, we have Star Wars Episode 9. I just love Star Wars. I love it so much. I love The Force Awakens. I love The Last Jedi. I love the first 3, the original trilogy. I just love everything Star Wars. And even though The Last Jedi is not the best movie ever, I still give it a 9.5, because Star Wars movies never fail to entertain me. And all I'm expecting is an ultra entertaining movie from this, and that's all I hope to get. So Star Wars Episode 9 is my number 2. So my number 1 movie was a movie that was supposed to come out in 2018, but it got bought over by Netflix, and it's coming out this year, and that is The Irishman. I am so excited for this movie because it's Martin Scorsese working again with Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, Al Pacino. He's just got all the great actors, and apparently they used the aging makeup in the movie that looks absolutely realistic and perfect. So I am excited for The Irishman. I know it's coming to Netflix sometime in 2019. I'm going to stay away from the trailers. I'm going to stay away from everything I can for this movie. I want to go in blind because I am expecting an absolute masterpiece that will sweep the Oscars, that will end up on a bunch of people's number 1. I just think that with a cast and a director like this, I don't know how you couldn't think the same thing. Well, alright, that concludes my most and least anticipated movies of 2019. So, what movies are you looking forward to in 2019, or which ones are you dreading? Comment in the comment section below and let me know. I'm Robert Burke, and this has been The Clever Critics. Goodbye.